So let's start in 2012 because that's when our first extremely rare and important sign occurred. By this method, we start our observance on the full moon of February. So you can see the full moon is rising to the left of due east, which is still its winter orientation. So if we were living in ancient times, we would wait until the next full moon to check for the turn again. Then on the full moon of March in 2012, it was rising to the right of due east, which is its spring and summer orientation. But both the sun and the moon need to have made their turn, and as you can see, on the full moon of March in 2012, the sun was still setting to the left of due west, which is the fall and winter orientation. So because the turn still didn't occur in March of 2012, we would need to wait until the full moon of the next month to check again. And as you can see, the sun made its full turn by the full moon observance in April of 2012. So now the ancients would know they can start the first month of the year on the next new moon. So the new moon in April 2012 occurred on the 21st, and the first visible crescent of that new moon was the next day on the 22nd. So using the ancient calendar method, the first day of the first month in 2012 was either on the new moon of the 21st or the first visible crescent of the new moon on the 22nd. And that gives us a 2-day window for each day. And the rest of the days fall in line, such as Passover on the 14th day from either the new moon or the first crescent. But here's the next point. The ancient days didn't start at the same time our Gregorian days start. The ancient biblical days started at sunset and lasted until sunset of the next day. So when we're looking at the ancient biblical dates on the Gregorian calendar, one biblical day would cover 2 Gregorian dates. For example, on the Gregorian calendar, this first day of the month where the new moon is would start on sunset of the 21st until sunset of the 22nd. But here's the next issue. The new moon, as it's recorded by NASA, can't be seen with the naked eye. It's the day when the moon is not visible at all in the sky. So in ancient times, they would go out and look for the first visible crescent of the new moon, which usually occurs the day after. So there's some debate over how the ancients did it, whether they actually started the first day of their month on the invisible new moon or the first visible crescent. So to be safe, we're going to consider both days as the possible start of the months, both the technical new moon and the visible first crescent the next day. This ends up giving us a 3-day watch period for every day on the ancient calendar. So for example, we know Passover is the 14th day of the month. So if we count from the new moon right here, this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and this would be 14. The 14th day would start at sunset on April 4th and last until sunset of April 5th. That's if we count from the new moon. But if we count from the first crescent, Passover would start at sunset on the 5th and last until sunset of the 6th. So that's the 3-day window for the appointed time of Passover on the ancient biblical calendar in 2012. So that was our first appointed times of 2012. Now let's look at the final 3 appointed times in 2012. Our first month started in the new moon of April 21st. So we'll just go to NASA's moon chart and count 7 months from April 21st. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you can see the 7th month starts on the new moon of October 15th. And the first visible crescent was on October 16th. Well, the reason I don't have a 3-day window for the dates in this month is there was a huge sign that occurred on the first crescent of the moon on October 16th, 2012. And this was the sign described in Revelation 12, 1 through 5. It was a celestial configuration involving the constellation Virgo, the sun, the moon, and the planet Saturn. And it's very rare. The last time it occurred was in 1570, and it won't happen again until 2454. So for more details on that, you would need to check the links in the description below this video because it's too detailed to go into now. But the fact that this rare sign occurred exactly on the first crescent of the 7th new moon in 2012 is more than just significant. The fulfillments of the future appointed times of the Elohim that we're watching for can also be signs, as we can see in the meaning of the word right here. The Feast of Trumpets, or literally the appointed sign of trumpets, literally occurred on October 16th, 2012 and won't happen again for another 500 years. This is one of the biggest confirmations we could have had that this ancient calendar method for determining the true appointed times is correct. So the first day of this month is obviously the first crescent instead of the new moon because that was the day of the fulfillment of the appointed sign itself.
We also have the true appointed time of trumpets occurring on the window of October 13th through the 15th this year. The true appointed time of atonement on the window of October 21st through the 23rd, and the true appointed time of tabernacles on the window of October 27th through November 5th. Those are the true ancient appointed times for the northern hemisphere as the Bible tells us to calculate them, and as the Bible also seems to have confirmed with the sign described in Revelation 12 occurring on the exact date of the true appointed time of trumpets in 2012. So the Jewish feast days are not the true feast days. They are not the true appointed times. So in order to find the true appointed times, we need to consider all the possibilities. So those are the windows for the true appointed times according to the way the Bible says to do it. Also notice the Orionid meteor shower is occurring on the exact window for the true appointed time of atonement this year. Earth Sky website says the Orionids have a broad and irregular peak that isn't easy to predict. This year, 2015, presents a fine year for watching the Orionid meteor shower. The best viewing for the Orionids in 2015 will probably be before dawn on October 22nd. Try the days before and after that too, sticking to the midnight to dawn hours. So they're telling us to watch for the Orionids from October 21st through the 23rd between midnight and sunrise. Also notice they're saying here that the Orionids sometimes produce bright fireballs. So that's occurring right on our window for true atonement this year, the Orionid meteor shower. And what makes the Draconids and the Orionids more significant than any other meteor showers throughout the year is that the Draconids were mentioned in the prophetic book of Revelation, signaling the escape and the destruction of Babylon, and the Orionids are coming from an area in the sky that astronomer Robert Harrington believed Planet X may be present, which, if that is causing the comets and asteroids, as some scientists believe, then the prophesied meteorite may be coming from that area as well. And Orion is also mentioned in the Bible on several occasions. So the Draconids and Orionids are something to watch this month. It also ties into the movie Deep Impact, which appears to have been a prophetic film depicting many of these events that occurred after the movie was released. The movie depicts a comet hitting the Earth, specifically in the Atlantic Ocean, which, as we've seen, seems to confirm biblical prophecy. But remember this Orion project that was mentioned in the film. In real life, Project Orion was designed to deflect an asteroid that could collide with Earth. In December 2014, the spacecraft Orion was launched, and in the movie Deep Impact, the president mentions that and says in 10 months, the asteroid will hit the Earth. 10 months from December 2014 lands in October 2015. 2015. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I'm just pointing that out. That's another reason this is a watch month. I have a few videos on Vimeo that show clips from that movie, and I'll link it below. So the Draconids and the Orionids in October are always watches for those reasons, more so than any other meteor shower throughout the year. And we're now entering this month, the final year of what appears to be Daniel's week, from October 2015 until October 2016.
As I stated before, the Bible codes, the last possible day are right here, okay? Which is Tishri, the last day in Tishri. And 2015, 2016... Tishri are consistent in the codes. There's no other months found that I know of that are consistent. And so this is what I want to show everyone here. And so I have these arrows that points to this day, right? So get this. And this is definitely worth showing. Okay? And that's why I'm doing it. Now, what this is it's a sign in the heaven, okay? It says October 14, 2015, first of the 8th month of Heshvan. The Revelation 12, woman clothed with the sun, a great sign appeared in heaven. A woman, Virgo, clothed with the sun, with the new moon under her feet. Okay, so this is the new moon we're looking for, because the new moon would be, well, it would be at the end of the month, right? So that would be the new moon. And so the moon is under her feet, and on her head a garland of 12 stars. Revelation 12:1. Leo's 9 principal stars plus the 3 planets in Leo equals 12 stars. This sign appears before the woman, or bride of Christ, is sheltered in a place of refuge. So what this says is this sign appears before the woman. It appears before the woman, or appears before the woman, or the bride of Christ. So that the codes consistently say Tishri. It doesn't say Heshvan. I've never seen a code that showed Heshvan. Okay. So what I'm saying is that if October 14th is truly Tishri 1, okay, which is right here, the way they used to calculate it, because if you take the first new moon from the equinox, which is right here, would be the actual Tishri 1, okay? And so what I'm saying is this would make the codes match right here. The 13th, this is the 13th right here. This is the actual, it's blocked all the way out, and so the first sliver would be on the 14th, okay, or the 15th, probably the 14th. I'm going to have to move this timeline forward by 30 days because I'm not the only one that's coming up with this timeline. The Bible clearly is going by the old way to calculate the new year, because the calendars aren't working. And so I believe that this is October 14th, 2015 is the real Tishri 1, okay? Everything needs to move forward by 1 month based on the way the new year is calculated by the equinox and the sighting of the first new moon or the first crescent. And so this all needs to be moved forward to the next month, okay? So the real will the real Yom Teruah please stand up? Okay. And so let's have the real Yom Teruah please stand up. Here is the real Yom Teruah right here. And so we're going to move everything forward 28 to 30 days. Okay. So this is the real Yom Teruah. This here is the real Yom Kippur, Day of Atonement. And from here to here is the real Feast of Tabernacles. The Jews are also saying that they have code tables by Glazerson that shows that the Messiah is going to show up on the Feast of Tabernacles, right? Well, the Feast of Tabernacles is over, so obviously something is off. The calendars are wrong.